everyone, and welcome to another episode of We Culture. It is Thursday evening, yes indeed, and that's what we do every Thursday. We talk culture and, of course, everything that influences it. For the past 3 weeks, we've been touching some very heavy issues as it relates to gender violence, and so, we are not stopping per se. We're just sort of just taking a shot off because, of course, we're in the track and field season, and next week is the Intercall Games, and that is a big thing. And we believe that you won't forgive us if we did not do a program on Intercall, because Intercall is a thing. It can cause a lot of emotions, so much so that when things happen, and probably sometimes things don't go people way, there was a whole grudge for all kind of umpteen years, all kind of 13, 14, 15, 16 years, they still vex just because they get it blows and they just want to run up the bout on you. But anyway, we happy. We gonna have a good time tonight. So I welcome all our viewers on GBN Television, our friends on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, and of course our listeners on K105 FM. Folks, the entire team is here. Could you imagine that? The entire team is here. Now that is not normal, but that can tell you something is about to go down tonight and are ready. So let's welcome the team. Doc, what happened, boy?
Well, I see a man with McDonald's college things. I want to go and change my shirt. No.
Well, look at it. I representing, don't worry. I representing.
All right. Good night to all the listeners and colleagues. Carla, good to see you. I didn't see the Queen as yet.
She there, man. She there. I think I see her.
No, the Queen ain't there on the screen at all. So she's coming slowly.
I saw earlier on, yeah, my boy. Look, the Queen there. Mm-hmm.
All right. Hi, Queen. Hi, Princess. So tonight, Intercall, we're talking Intercall, and of course, it's a very interesting topic, and I believe we are all geared based on what we saw happening before. We know we in for a treat, so let me just say good night. And we're gonna have a field trip, a field day.
Yeah. Well, let the Queen say good night. A long time she ain't get to say good night early, so we're gonna bring in the Queen right now. Let she say good night, Queen.
Good evening, folks. Good evening, fellow panelists. It hasn't been that long. It was only one program that I missed. So, yeah. Wasn't it one? It was just one.
Nah, man.
It was more than one?
Yeah. Around Intercall time, people memory does just go clear. So
Please. It was one.
You missed two programs.
So I'm looking forward to tonight's program like I look forward to every other program. So we're not going to make it look as if because it's a particular topic. That is why everyone is here. We're usually always here, but sometimes we do have circumstances. Thank you very much.
Well, I wasn't speaking in terms of presence, I wasn't speaking in terms of presence. I was talking in terms of punctuality. Punctuality, that's a big word. Anyway, Finley, what going on?
How do you Reece, Carlos? Reece, let me tell you something. There are two men at this panelist.
Fellow panelists.
Panelist. We are coming.
What are we?
Yeah?
What are we? Who are we?
I panel most. I panel.
Oh, okay, I get your point.
I panel most. I watching now. I just see how my backpack already.
Yeah. That's right. And you see, I representing and supporting for. I pull out an old shirt because I pull out an old shirt because it is an indication of the return. The return.
Return of what?
Yeah.
Return of who?
The Anglican high school. Let that ring through your ears.
So we already go.
We are already there.
We were always there.
Don't forget, we did there, you know.
We were not on the part of the podium that said one, number one, and that is where we are returning.
Right. Well, anyway, we have a lot to talk about. So now, guys, I noticed for the past 2 or 3 weeks, we sort of didn't study with like a word and phrase, but we had to bring it back tonight. So we go straight to scholar. We ain't sticking.
All right. Well, time is of the essence. So, Doc, I have one for you, and maybe it's not one, but several. But they in meaning, they are basically the same. And you would have to, well, I don't even know if they're same, but you would have to say if they are graduations of the same day. So the phrase for tonight is run your mouth, right? And say they run the mouth. Or another derivative of it, run up the mouth. Now, whether these two are the same, run your mouth, run up your mouth, right? As a matter of fact, we even would go so far to say, run your ass. You take out the ass and run it up. You could run it up as well.
Your ass too.
Yeah, you could run it up as well, right? And then, of course, inside of all that, you have run me down.
Yes.
So it's a whole color of things. And so first you must say what it is, the terms of definition, and whether they are similar or different or graduations of the same thing.
I can hear a graduation. Run up your mouth is basically saying, run up your mouth is basically saying, you've been there saying all kind of thing about me. You've been saying all kind of thing about me. And that one could be when the person is present. You know, so you're running up your mouth because you're just making a series of allegations. Generally, that means.
So run up your mouth is the same as run your mouth.
Yes, I would say the same as run your mouth. Or you run your. Well, usually person refer to run up your mouth is the same as run your mouth. And there is a third one you see. There was a third one.
The third one?
Yeah, there was a.
Well, when you don't say you're not running up your mouth, no, but you're running up your head.
Generally, so that is in the past. You're talking about something that happened before. Like when I was there, you run up your mouth, but
Godfrey, stop sharing my head, Doctor.
Well, let me tell you something. The way I see it, there are different, and let me use a big word here. There are different stratas in this thing. Different stratas, man, in this thing. Yeah. So I find if somebody run them out on you, they talk you bad.
Yeah.
Now, if they run up them out on you, they take it a notch up, a different level. In other words, they really talk you bad. They really talk you bad. If they run up the area on you, I mean, well, that's more than real bad talk.
If somebody run up the mouth on you, it means that is an act that was done in your absence. If the person is, you stay and you're rolling up your mouth, that is something that is being done in the person present.
No, man, if somebody run up, if you're present and somebody running up their mouth, you and all your cussing?
Yeah, well, that is what it is. You're running up your mouth, you're making allegations, you're saying all kind of thing, you're running up your mouth on me. But if you run up your mouth, it was something that was accused you of something that was said in my absence.
I find it hinges along the line of hypocrisy. You make it hypocrite, but at a level, a level where you basically, saying bad things about somebody. So
so when you run up, you're saying bad things about the person, but behind, in the absence, the person was not present. They heard, so it's you make hypocrite. When you say you did running up your mouth, meaning I am here and you're saying all these things, you're saying all these wrong things about me while I am present. You are running up your mouth. So when I think is in the present, you're running up your mouth. But if I say you run up your mouth,
What?
you run up your mouth on me, it means that is what I heard. That is what you said. Somebody, that what scholar come and tell me. That what scholar come and tell me you say.
That I find you what I was anything, man. I find you what I was anything, Doc. I find you what. Listen, let me tell you.
Let me tell you. I could go in Lato, for example, where Reece walking, and run me mouth.
Yeah.
Go and run up my mouth too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you could even go beyond that. Take it and not, and it could probably hinge on the kind of things that you say.
But scholar, you could go in Lato and run up your mouth. Anytime you go and run up your mouth, it's because of something you really think that happened already. Anytime you run up, think about when you use the phrase, you go and you run up your mouth. It's something that you did before. Somebody run up their mouth on you. That's something that somebody did before you heard it. It's secondary.
No, because
no, you don't want to be dark. You could listen.
If you go in Lato and you run up your mouth, it means that okay, you go and you run up your mouth. It's something you went and you did in Lato. But if you're there and you're running up your mouth, it means that you're doing it in the person present. So run, forget about run. Run is what I think you could actually plan. Me, I live in here, I'm going to run up my mouth. So you could plan you're going to run up your mouth.
That for me,
you run up.
Yeah, I think Reece might be the best person to explain that.
It's easy to run up.
Yes, because she does well. You know.
I'm not the best person, but I like when you all sit down and run up on your ass and act as if like, you are the only experts in everything. So, go to run up, run in, and run down. But the way I'm looking at it, all these are actions. They're actions by a person. So whether you run up, you do whatever, but usually is when it's being spoken about, when the action is being spoken about, that is when you get the phrases. So it is either someone else talking about what another person do to someone, or the person who it has been done to speaking about what has been done to them, and the colorful language would come out as a result. But there are different intensities of it. I mean, you did say you were going to use a big word, and I'm being petty tonight. You said stratas, 7 little letters, But anyways, I am going to say intensity, different levels of intensity.
So Reece, hold on.
My word is bigger.
So between mosquito and cow, which is the bigger word?
I am not going down that road with you today. I'm not farming tonight. I am not sleeping tonight. I am just I'm discussing something about the levels of intensity. So I'll start with run down.
No, man. Run up. Run up first.
No. I said I'm starting with the last. Why? You see, that's the thing about men. You all like to dictate to people, especially women. How to. Godfrey, leader free. I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. So I'm starting below. Not at the bottom. I'm starting below. So I'm starting with the run me down. That is usually something where it is there's no element of laughter there. There's no feeling that, that there's jokes involved or whatever, when somebody will run you down, it's because they were pretty negative about the person. So you run the person down, you brought them down to the lowest. What you didn't say about him. When we talk about run up your derriere or run up your mouth or whatever, usually there could be an element of jokes within. It could be two people that really don't have a problem per se with each other. They're not enemies, but a conversation happened and it reached back to the person where they will run up their mouth. This is something that happens on We Culture a lot. All you know is run up all your derriere on miking, especially when you know the others have to defend him, right? So I hope I put into context the whole. Say that again.
I said, stick true to purpose.
Yes, they don't run up the backside on you, right? And I don't have it because you're my king. We might agree to disagree, but you're my king. I got you. Yeah. So that's it, really. I mean, it's their actions, their verbal actions, but usually when you hear the phrases, it's because someone who is affected or someone who knows not affected, but someone who's spoken about or someone who knows about another person that was spoken about would express it to show the level that people went to say things, whether they run down the person, which is totally negative. There's nothing to like about that, but someone might run up the derriere or run up the mouth. And even the derriere, usually the derriere, there's more fun with it. There's possibly jokes, banter, but they run up the mouth. That too could be negative. So if I were to put them at levels of what is worse for the person who it's being done to, I would say run up your derriere, we can handle that. Run up your mouth, that one we're starting to get real bad. And you see when you reach by run me down, we can be friends.
So I have a question. Scholar, so how are you running down somebody?
Are you running them down?
Yeah.
Well, you have two ways to run them down. You could have to take a cut. like the other time, last year around now, so this is our police running down a man in 12.
I remember that.
So that is one pattern.
The police couldn't make it, They couldn't make it.
Up to now, the police only man, you must be still running.
Hold on.
Pattern down. But, so you have a run down with foot, and then you have a run down with mouth. You run down with mouth, I agree with Queen, that is when you're saying a lot of negative, bad things about somebody, right? You run them down. And the truth is that running down somebody, right? You could run down somebody by running up your mouth.
But I find that how you don't run down people, you know. I find.
Right? Because my thinking is all of these things, and Reece is right, are just levels of the same thing. So if you say one or two bad things, you run your mouth. Well, if that lot bad thing, you run up your mouth. Now, if you say a lot of bad thing, and you have a lot of shit with it, a lot of old mess thing, then you run up your hair. You run your hair.
Yes.
So to me, it's graduations of the same action.
And then by doing all that three, it result you run down the person.
You run down the person.
I love it.
Well, that was my interpretation, because that's why I asked the question, how you running down somebody? You can't fight to run down somebody.
So my question to you, Leader Free, right? Based on the levels that were just discussed there, which level do you think it was due to King?
Me?
Yes.
Let's talk about what you do to Doc, no man. Wait, talk about do that. King me.
And another thing about you men,
King in the
you all are
partner.
very evasive. I can answer your question, you know, but you need to answer mine first.
No, don't
Why are
dictate,
you being evasive?
don't dictate to me. While you man so, while you
I am
man
not
always
dictating, I'm
feel,
asking you.
all you have to
I'm
dictate
not
things to
telling
man,
you
and
to
all you have
answer
to
me
tell us
first.
what to do. Relax.
I'm not telling you to answer me first. I'm asking you. Why don't you answer me
I
first?
don't answer no
Why are you being evasive?
Listen to me. I don't answer
That's
no
where a few people
question.
calling, they say they're waiting on the
I don't answer no question from no woman.
Cool yourself. Let me talk with that. Don't come with that. I just start running up your mouth on you.
Yeah, you can.
What is strange?
We need to hear from Mr. Marshall.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah, but no. I the whole thing about the run up and run down. I think the run down is the, well, as Reece say, in terms of intensity, I think that's the highs. You know, when in other words, you have a next phrase you could use for that, you know. They water wash you.
The water wash
They water wash you.
We have someone on the Facebook who is saying, when you do it behind the person back, your back talk. I think we call it bad talk. Bad talk behind their back.
Yeah.
Person said back talk, but yes, that could be a phrase that is like a synonym of the actions that you guys do. And you all do bad talk King as well. I'm not letting up tonight, you know. You all just bad talk him. You and Doc.
Why about Lucky Man say?
Yes. All you know what all you say, I don't repeating that. So someone else said,
I find you're trying to buy friend.
Too much. I don't have to buy no friend.
You're trying to buy King friend.
Hey, King and I go way back, you know.
Yeah.
What you know? Anyways, too much corruption and wickedness in high places. I don't know why this comment is there. And then we have Marilyn Butcher saying, running down is not nice thing to do anyone, but you're talking about a person behind their back, so it's very negative. That's a friend. That's, I guess, not a friend to have. When they're about you, when you're not present, when they talk about you, when you're not present, their mouth is dirty. So that was her comments there. Yeah, when they're running you down.
Right. So that's that.
Yeah, so we should probably take some calls, because it have people Doc like to hear apart from my voice. When I speaking, you always know callers calling. I don't know what's going on.
That's the caller calling about intercall.
Yeah, about intercall. So and when leader free talking, you know you're in that, eh? Don't start citing them. But as soon as I start, callers want to call about intercall. Doc, take all the callers. Take all.
Anyways, so I think we settle and we agree on the run up and run down and all them kind of thing. So intercall, guys, it's track and field season, and of course the excitement is there, and like every year we're looking forward to you know, the keen rivalry and all of that, and of course in the final analysis, what SAS go win, and is that so as not Doc, we'll come to you first, so you'll keep the thing, you know, as we are accustomed going, so we'll come to you, and then one of people go jump in after.
Okay. So tonight the topic is intercall.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have done that several times. I hope we could add some a new twist to it tonight. Of course, intercall started in 1965 officially. I think there was a game athletic meet between GBSS and PBC sometime prior to 1965. But in 1965, that was when SAS actually started participating, and it officially became intercall in that year, right? Intercall has always been one that is, you had a lot of twists and turns. For matter of fact, there are some persons that we can give credit for, very long standing, like people like Dr. Veer Pitt, well, people like Bobby Benjamin, or people like George Gotti Robinson as administrators, people that actually directed. For matter of fact, George Gotti Robinson is one of those that have served almost 50 years. I mean, more than 50 years in Intercol. One first as a student, as an athlete. His name has been consistently on the Intercol book. First as an athlete, as a coach, later as an official, and then as a director for many years in relation to Intercol. And so we had some long-standing name. I don't know if people would remember, of course, Bobby Benjamin, Yvette Sinak, just to name a few. In recent time, we have people like Colin Peters and Conrad Francis, and Reece favorite, Miss Mason. These are people that have served a long time in the administration of Intercol. And then we have some names. I mean, I go back, maybe some athletes that passed through, the likes of Alan Franzik, of course, Kirani James, Anderson Peters in recent times. We have people like Trevor Modest. And we can forget names like Eugene Liquishan, of course, and we have Godfrey and Trevor Modest, Anthony Greenidge. I would leave out that some names directly, definitely. I know I would get some calls of that. Ellis Mickle and Jacinta Bartholomew. Some of these names are names that really etch the memory into Intercol as an athlete. I mean, I know I could, just starting to name athlete is controversial because so many different athletes star at different times. And then we had different schools that operated at the highest level, one both male and one in the various divisions. You had of course SAS at the top of the roster, and then you had GBSS. We have McDonald College. I'm not so sure. We have PBC. I'm not so sure if Wester Hall actually won at one time.
Yep.
I think they did Wester Hall. So in terms of the male, and then you had an Anglican High. They had a long stint winning in the female division, and then that was then matched by St. David Secondary. SAS won in the girls division on 2 occasions. St. Joseph Convent won at one time. St. Joseph Convent, both St. Joseph Convent, Grenville and St. George. I don't know if
Boca.
I cannot. Boca. Yeah, Boca. Okay, right. So we had something, but apart from those that won, we had some other schools that made the mark really nicely. I remember there was a year when I was really vying for Hillsborough and Bishop College. They came, one was 12 and one was 14 one year. And I thought that was such a huge effort. We have athletes from all the schools ever so often making the mark, including schools even like Montrose, Grenville Secondary at one time, Happy Hill, and some Shapers. So all these schools have a lot to be proud of in terms of their contribution towards Intercol. There are some names in track and field. I just think I need to just mention them. Very famous, but they did not make the name so much in Intercol, but thereafter. But I just think for what of it, I will just mention the names like Morris Bull Williams, Donald Pierre from the West, Conrad Francis, that made his name thereafter on the national level. So I think we have a lot to be proud of. But Intercol has always been about school rivalry, and this over the years we have seen the competition shift focus. At one time, of course, it was between PBC and GBSS, and then with the advent of SAS Rise in the 1980s in particular, it became not just a competition between schools, but a sort of competition between country and town. This year, we have some challenges, and I think we could get some help from the panel in really zeroing in some of the challenges. One, in terms of the administration and the officiating. Just to mention one of those things that I have noticed in recent time, like the school board seem to be having a series of issues. There are a lot of other points we could. Carla, you went to the primary school games, and if you look close on the track and the administration, we wanting for some, to lift the game. as it relates to what should really happen at Intercol, and we hope that that doesn't happen. What's facing us also in terms of the time, how do we run off the events, Intercol being a 3-day event. And it's very important that school children, some of them living at very, very far distances, if we could send them home as early as possible. So that is something that can be looked at. And lately we see a new fad taking place, a pre-Intercol sort of exhibition of schools showing off. I mean, we see Cybertruck, we see yacht, we have horses, a series of different things as school prepare and hype up.
I notice it's at the forefront of your mind. The Tesla and the Cybertruck catch all you, eh?
So we want to see, we could discuss in light of if it is a distraction, if it is a hype. So all these things that need to be discussed. Last year we saw there was always a rivalry, particularly between certain schools. I mean, in SAS and GBSS, it is really known about the rivalry. But what about the taunting? Some physical taunting. Scholar, I know this is something right up your alley, and that is something that again can be looked at in that. We see an increase in spectatorship. It is difficult to go to Intercol now after 1, particularly on the 3rd day, and get a seat on main stand. And one of those things that I saw actually happening at Intercol is the horns, the blowing of the horns. So all this in terms of administration and what can be done. So that is something that we can look at. Again, finally, last year they introduced March Pass. And March Pass is becoming a very, very big thing, you know. Children seem to be gravitating towards that. Is it a distraction? Is it a hype for Intercol, knowing that we have 3 days? Is it, you know? So all these things and them are as we face this Intercol, the challenges. Intercol is bigger than a school getting 20 E's or 20 pluses in the exam. Intercol is bigger than winning the football competition or the win ball or the educational bowl, the spelling bowl, or the debate whatsoever that is taking place. Intercol for school is a bragging right. And so schools are going out on a limb to make sure that they have the best, they put the best foot forward.
Doc,
so here we are, guys.
Doc, I want to correct you on something.
Yeah.
The Match Pass competition, this would be its 3rd year.
Oh,
right? And as you rightly say, Intercol is about bragging rights. There are some schools you have to allow them to have bragging rights with the Match Pass. Don't fight those people at them thing. Lead them in their thing. Right? As I say, I never see Match Pass in Olympics, but they the thing and let people have the bragging rights with their thing. Right? We schools and them, you know who we are. We go out there and it's about track and field, right? Leave people with a Match Pass. Don't complain. It's not, and it has its audience. There are people who look forward to this. They're excited about it. Lead those people and them with a thing. Yeah, some schools that won't be nothing in Intercol if you don't Match Pass. Leave them.
It's deeper than that, you know. It's deeper than that. From day one, I have always been one who favor Match Pass and cheerleading and all this kind of thing. I love that. And I have had for years a lot of pushback from people who are athletic minded, especially men who coach and men who run, thinking that this is a distraction. But little do they know that in school is an important organ for bringing out children's creativity. All right? And the truth is that most of what you see being displayed in March Pass and so on are planned by the children. You know? This is the only thing in school you don't have to beat up behind children for March Pass and cheerleading. You know? You don't have to fight with them. You know? Their creative juices just overflowing and they're doing things. So even the new invention now with the torch run, which is what you're speaking about, where you see Elon Musk, this thing, piece of vehicle. I don't know how to put Elon Musk piece of dumb gravel truck on thing, but
Yeah, we sure. Yeah.
And Cybertruck.
and people riding horse and all this kind of thing. This, again, these are children's creative juices coming to the fore. And I see this will get bigger and better. This is what school is all about. School is not just about running, and we don't offer enough, and we don't target enough students. And school is supposed to be a place where every student, regardless of what they're good at, we can tap into it and help it to nurture it and to grow. And this is part of the whole issue. But let me just go back to say that as it relates to intercal, now let me just say this, that I believe that every generation that has run intercal as athletes and even as spectators believe and assume that theirs was the best generation. Right? We're speaking to the two, the litmus test is that two man. I always believe that there is the best. As a matter of fact, you would struggle to believe that even up to now records have been broken in intercal. But anyway, that being as it is. But last year, over the last couple of years, we have seen some innovations in intercal. All right? And probably, as Doc said, we could discuss them. So first of all, we saw the moving away from the bank sponsorship, Scotiabank, Republic Bank, Intercal, and so on, and to now a more government kind of centered sponsorship of Intercal. All right, I had to struggle with a certain gentleman. He believed that was the worst thing that ever happened. I say, well, joke you making. That can't be the worst thing that ever happened. To me, that is the best thing, because he doesn't understand, and I think we have never understood what the sponsorship of Intercal was like with the bank and so on and so forth and what have you. And I think that the government-sponsored, centered sponsorship has pumped much more money into the hosting of Intercal, and for me, that has been a great thing. Last year, we have Queen here, Queen and them heavily now involved.
255,000 last year.
There you go.
And this year it's 350,000.
Right.
And I just want to say too, that even when the banks were sponsoring, we still injected significant amounts of funds into Intercal, especially after Intercal was over.
Not significant amount of funds, Reece. You must speak as though you're on the political platform. Fundamental amount of resources. I mean, come on, man. Do better than that. So that for me is great. That is huge. This is, to me, government and so on putting the money where they speak and say things. So that for me was good. Well, we spoke about the new invention with the torch run that created, and to me that this is all about hype and giving children, other children besides athletes, a chance to show their creativity and so on. But there is something with the Intercal, and I think you touched on it, that I'm kind of perturbed about, right? It has to do with the number of events. And you say they should run it faster so children go home. They can't run it faster, because Intercal has too many events. I wrote about this sometime last year. I wrote an article on this because I believe that some way, somehow, somebody needs to take a jail for people children. And I think I said that before. Intercal is the most gruesome athletic event in world sports. It's the most gruesome. Because you have, now what they did, they found that 2 days was not sufficient for Intercal with the among the events. So they added.
This is never enough.
And when adding a third day, you know what they did? They add more events.
Yeah.
So right now, it ain't easy on children. Last year I look at intercol, and trust me, after that time I get tired, you know. I just need to close my eye. I'm tired sitting all day. It is the only athletic event where whole day children running and jumping and doing things. Usually there is a break, they couldn't break because there's too many things happening in intercol. And people would say, all right, you should limit the amount of events that each athlete has. But we don't have that luxury. Trust me. Because there are some schools that just don't have the resources. They don't have athletes. Some schools are 100 and something children. Where you getting athletes so you could streamline and they'll point to Jamaica and so on and so forth. Let me tell you how bad this thing is. Intercol is the only athletic event where you will run a 800-meter hits in the morning and run the 800-meter finals in the afternoon. It's the only place, only event where that happens. In international or in anything, you get a break, 800 meters. Sometimes you get out 3 days and 2 days. I mean, on 1 day to put, but you can't expect children to run in the, and this is something I really would have hoped that they changed, right? Last year I wrote and I proffered an idea. Well, I guess they embarrassed me because who's me to take that idea. But I proffered that they should run the heats of the 800 maybe a week or so before intercol. And people said, well, children would not be running in front of an audience. And so I proffered again, well, then why not run it during primary school sports? Because I went to primary school sports the last couple of years, properly run, and there was a huge break, maybe almost 2 hours, where nothing was happening because they ran the thing so effectively that there was that space. Let the children run there.
So they need more events in primary school sports, sir? Huh? They need more events in primary school sports?
Find a way where they could marry, speak to the GUT and find some common ground where you could have the thing. But having the 800 meters in the morning and the 800 finals in the afternoon. No. Somebody need a good prison. Somebody need a good prison.
So
there are much more, but
what I have liked about the 2025 intercall was GAP's decision to, and as a Grenada Association of Principals of Secondary Schools, right? Their decision to pay prizes to the schools. And they did the top 10 boys, the top 10 girls. Of course, it was compliments to National Lotteries Authority. I really thought that this was great, and I'm hoping, and I was hoping that this year it would expand to more schools, because even if you're a school that topped or did not top, there's a level of preparation that goes into getting these athletes ready, the transportation, the camping, the meals, the breakfast every morning. It's really the student body that's funding those things right now. And I am sure it is not, at the level that they would prefer. But I believe that when our children go and run on this track, whether it's with spikes or bare feet, we ought to see it reflected in the improvement of the schools in terms of their ability to prepare the athletes, make sure that they are well nourished because they are going through a period of grueling work. They still have to keep up with their academia and stuff like that. So I really want to applaud GAPS for having done that last year, choosing the top 10 girls and boys. but I am hoping that it could be extended to participating schools. Yes, you have the award scheme in terms of, well, the top get this and you go down, but I think every school deserves to get a check. And it should have a basic minimum. I don't think the basic minimum, what we had as for the top, the 10th place, that's just my opinion. I don't think it was good enough last year. So we need to up that, because the schools do put out, the teachers put out, the parents put out, the athlete, everybody put out. And they should not be entertaining our public in the diaspora, virtually, right in the stadium. They should not be entertaining them so much. And as King says, there's so many events to entertain our public. The schools cannot be going back dragging, and it's like you have bills to pay and you're still wondering if you might be able to fund this child who got injured to go to therapy if that's needed, you know, that kind of thing. Or if you would be able to have enough spikes for your team the next year, if you'd be able to buy proper uniforms. I think it's really important that the schools benefit. And I hope that they're able to do all of them this year, if not next year.
Doc, what's your thoughts on the events, the number of events at Intercol?
Well, I think there is actually a lot of events and a hit. So while the scholar was talking about in primary school, I think primary school sports should expand to do more, to maybe bring in more primary school students. I don't know how that is possible, but
the private school, they need to.
Maybe bring in the private school. A child is a child, according to Dr. Francis Alexis.
A child is a child.
A child is a child. Bring in the private school, and then we had a similar thing. A child is a child. Under junior is a junior, senior is a senior. Anyway, they are.
And you know what? It's okay to have the private school sports. They can have the private school sports. But I believe that when it comes to the primary school sports, like the parish sports, that one should be like the intercall of.
Well, once they within the age, I believe.
And they should be there. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't agree with that.
Well, you don't.
No. The philosophy of it is correct. In terms of a child is a child and they should be there or whatnot. But if you listen to the argument on what the sticking point is, the side that doesn't want it has a very good argument.
Really? So what's that? What?
Well, it's a GOT event. GOT resource, GOT sponsor, GOT whatever. The private schools are not members of GOT.
We understand that.
They have asked over and over that the private schools become GOT and they've refused.
Okay.
That's easy.
I understand that. And it's sad. I understand that, but it's sad. Because we can I can talk about, let's say, the National Lotteries Authority. We have a medal and trophy program. Are we just giving medals and trophies to government schools? No. We are doing the private schools as well. Right?
So maybe a solution.
And the private schools accept the medals. Right?
Well,
because they see the value in it. So I really think that people just need to see the value in things, and for the children's sake and all that, if there is a term and condition that you need to just do it for the children. I mean,
so maybe scholar, the primary school sport is sponsored or organized by GUT. Maybe just like how the bank is no longer and the government is funding Intercol, maybe something like that can be done. To make sure that you include every child. But I wanted to answer the question Godfrey posed to me as it relates to if there are too many events. And my answer simple would be that a week before Intercol, maybe we can have a day of hits. Because one of the problems that facing Intercol are the many qualifying hits. So if we can have a hit there are two ways. We can have a day of just doing qualifications in the throws, in the jumps, well, in track and field, track and field. So things just run off just one day, and then the following week you can come back and have a 2-day intercall. So I think that would ease the pressure and it give rest time, and it's less grueling on the children. That is one way of I think that it can be done, you know. So that being said, I also wanted to respond to a comment you made as it relates to, yes, I believe that intercall, the focus of intercall is to draw out the athletic potential and ability of our children. So yes, our children might have artistic and creative juices that flows. It should augment, it should help, it should lend to the whole environment. But I believe you can go too far and get distracted if everything come into play. So let me just say, if the children are creative in fashion and in matching well, let me finish.
No, I don't want to finish because
Scholar, you cannot, Scholar, you always doing that. You always.
It's not going too far. The children.
But you don't even hear me feel why you like that.
Theory you talking there? If you could go too far, it's not going too far. It is not taking out the concentration from the athletes. And the call is still about athletic talents. That's what it is.
So the cheerleading and everything.
And doing things. You are not seeing, for example, children who are athletically minded, they marching and studying marching. The marching is for a certain set.
So let me ask you, Scholar. So you are saying that someone that is an athlete cannot be creative as a designer, and I'm saying that they could have an event. We can have an event to tap into the creativity of all children. So there can be occasions where you have cheerleaders. You could have cheerleaders. There can be event when you have marching. There can be event. We can produce and create events where you have competition and you learn that escape route or that creative route, so that our children could expose, and not just a few, but all the children, whether they're athletes or not. Because you cannot say because you're an athlete, you cannot be a seamstress, you cannot be a fashion designer, you cannot do that.
So that
all right, so that is why.
So that is why. You believe it's in intercall they're sewing? They see them with machine in intercall sewing? The sewing and the designing happening before?
Yes.
And you're saying that those children that are training heavily, those children that are deep into athletics, that they will have the time to do both of them equally.
Doc, I don't agree. I don't agree because even if you have the competition.
Nothing about what going on in theory drummers. You can go out of the league, you don't know how to listen. Don't come with a hypothetical thing.
Doc, I believe, right, that intercall has evolved. And in everything, it's about keeping the attention span of people, having less lull, less dead air. Intercall has always tried to bring in fillers, whether it's an artist performing or the drum corps. In the past, there was a match pass. It was a simple presentation of the teams. And must I say, the Anglican high school used to be mostly the team that is well outfitted and in the numbers. The rest just used to send sometimes two representative. That didn't matter because it wasn't like a match pass with the theatrics that you see now. Yeah. So they're creating fillers, and I believe that there's room for everybody. There's room for everybody without taking out what the main focus is, which is track and field. So I don't have a problem with the match pass. It's a part of the entertainment. There are people in the audience there that look forward to it, children and adults. It really doesn't hurt. It just adds to the quality of event that is being put on. And again, we now have lights. Parents are encouraged to come to Intercall. Come and witness your child, come and supervise your child, come and be there for when event's over, that you're there with your child. There's be present and just enjoy what there is to offer. So I really don't have a problem with the match pass. I don't think the match pass is a main focus. But when you speak about the children who are running, not having the opportunity to be part of the, let's say, the designing or the match pass and all that, even if you had a separate out of Intercall event for that, there's going to be numbers. There's going to be allowed numbers. The whole school won't be able to do it. The same drum corps that plays in Intercall, that has a drum corps event, they are going to be involved there too. Are we going to say, well, take them out and have a drum corps event? Yes, we have that too. But the match pass was supposed to be a thing, and it has fallen. 2 people coming to represent a whole school, 1 person. So they have looked at it and they are now offering, because they are seeing that there are schools that are already paying attention to this match pass thing, and we're giving them an opportunity to entertain. The numbers are small. Last time I checked, it's like about 25. I think it's 25 members they can have, and not everybody participates, but I think it adds to it. And the both competitions doesn't happen the same day. I think there is a day for the girls and a day for the boys matching, if I remember clearly. It's not all of them on the same day. So it just adds to the quality of event that we have. And that's how we look at events now. It's not just about what is supposed to happen. Like, you have an event where you're drinking, where it's like a brunch. So we all go to the bar and drink. We all go to the food stall and get food. That is the main thing. And we enjoy the music. That is the main thing of a brunch. Eat, drink, be merry, right? But guess what? We are now looking at the interior decorating. We are theming things because it's about the experience. You having an experience that is not just about eat, drink, and party, that there's things for you to take pictures, make memories. There's so much more. It's about an experience. So I think the same thing is transcending into Intercall. It's no longer about track and field, but more so about an experience that is inclusive, especially for the children.
Right. Right. All right. Let me jump in. So the issue of the events. I personally believe there are way too much events. Way too much events at Intercall. And you can go back to our days. Intercall was one day. It was a lot more grueling. But you got it done. So you moved to 2 days because, of course, you want expansion. You want athletes to become exposed because you're thinking about the bigger picture. You're thinking karate, you're thinking Olympics, all of that. So, yes. But I honestly don't see the reason for a prep to be running at 800 or 400 meters in Intercall. I mean, you're talking about a year difference when a child would become a sub-junior or a junior. 1 year.
You're prep again.
Yeah, prep again. Well, right. Because like in our time, as a sub-junior, you did not run the 400 meters. You ran 1-2. And once you got into junior, then you go into 4 and 8. I personally don't have a problem with that because it's 1 year difference. Right? So
big but weak. Y'all are big but weak.
Yeah, but weakness was converted into victory. So and we go leave that day. So I believe there's way too much. I think it could be better organized and cut the events, and they could probably focus and put more effort into events like hurdles. Hurdle, for example, is a fairly new event to Grenada, but there is potential. I looked at that young guy at the national championship. What his name is? Kyle Ned. Mm-hmm. And you can see how much he has improved from when he just got involved. So you can put efforts there into developing the athletes, but that tender age, 10 and 11.
Shante Augustine too. Shanti Augustine is at a college right now and she's doing very well with the huddles too.
Exactly.
And I'm just putting that in there because, I want to take out the bias of the male and also the fact that you mentioned that SAS athletes. I just wanted to say like there are other athletes.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking SAS. I was more thinking because I looked at him and I was really, really impressed. For example, now we have the heptathlon and these are events that at CARFTA. So we can look at the thing, restructure the thing and put emphasis in areas where it can make good sense and just give that year break for that sub-junior to develop a little more and move on. As it relates to Match Pass, Doc, the truth is I had to go with Scholar on them because Match Pass has never been separated from, as we used to call it, sports. It was part of, you go in sports and Match Pass was there. It's expected. What does that mean in Interqual, for example, with the Match Pass, with all the hype? I mean, you could probably liken that to the opening ceremony in the Olympics with all the antics. I mean, the kind of things you see there. And it goes to creativity. Athletes really, I have been to a lot of games and I don't even recall if I went that match. because going on up in the hot Sunday, there is that thing about it. But the Match Pass at Intercall, I think it's really nice. I would love to see some more creativity. Drop off some of these events that you have to look at children MC in troubling. Enhance the Match Pass. I think it would be a fantastic spectacle. Put more into it, get all kind of thing. Or let's call them again, Scholar. There's a seat on America when they have different days, St. Patrick Day and floats. Get all kind of floats and thing, but get float, make the thing big, but you need the time. So I think there is room for improvement and innovation and a lot of spectacular things to happen. So I have no problem with the Match Pass, but the amount of events, I would also like to see an improvement in the officiating. We continue to see a lot of funny things happening. Officiated. I see in the national champs, I see an official disqualify 2 athletes for false start. I'm still puzzled as to how it happened. I looked at it, I saw the false start, but I didn't understand how 2 persons got disqualified for it. But that is it. So
you're right. And shoot is the guy in the back, but it's not the first time they're doing it. Doing it in Dakar last year.
But the fella in lane 7 is the one that false start, not the fella in lane 2.
You know the one in that one I was just telling you, the one in the back no false that.
And they disqualify, you get red get first. So there are areas we can look at to improve the thing, and make it better and also to better prepare our athletes to move on and to bigger meets and so. So that's my little take on that.
Now before you come in, Reece, you have any comments? You have anything?
We have some comments. So
we do.
Yeah.
So we have Marilyn said back talk or backbite, very negative. And then we go on to Yulin is saying the blowing of the horns, I find it is distracting the children when coming to do their races. Angela said, I don't see nothing wrong with Match Pass. I just look forward to it, even the torch run. We have Marilyn saying, we have about 100 cybercars in my neighborhood and most of them catch a fire. Hopefully these kids are learning that the most important thing for us, as long as they are learning. Angela said, Scholar, you are so right, and they keep them children on the field too long before they run their races. Rough Enough said, too much playing, we need to channel all this youthful energy into growing some food. Desalin said, I have to disagree with you. We have to consider we have many more athletes and additional schools. Our athletes have to be trained at a very young age for our athletes to be able to perfect it. I believe Intercol Games is one of the well-oiled machine when it comes to athletic games in Grenada. And Angela said, I agree with you, Godfrey. So that's it for the Facebook. Yeah.
There is one.
It's just because having greetings.
Okay. There's one comment on the WhatsApp platform. Somebody says, I agree with Doc. Let Intercall be about sports and not about fillers to entertain the audiences. And let's get our children out there and compete, then get them back home in a decent hour. So, Doc, one for you.
But you know, when we do that, the flip side to it is that when you don't have the fillers, as King said, you have a child run 800 meters in the heat, and then at the end, later on in the day, he has to go and do the finals. You know, there's less rest time for that child. There's less recovery time. So there's a flip side to it. The fillers do come in, you know, at the advantage at time. They get to rest a bit.
But fillers, in everything, fillers are important. I mean, they do have the role. Yeah.
So let me just qualify what I'm saying. I am not 100% against the match pass, nor am I against fillers. I'm just saying that there is a trend and we have to be mindful of it and don't let it overpower us. That the focus for Intercall has to be on athletics and the children welfare. And yes, there are fillers, but I know we can go above board. And that is the statement I want to make. There is something else I wanted to move on. I think I threw the bit, but nobody seemed to bite into it. Take it. I was talking about officiating and the administration of the game. I went to the primary school games this last 2 days. They had 2 days. And I really had issue with two things. The board had some serious glitches where
they say they go fix it.
The next day?
No, they say they go fix it. They have to fix that for character.
Right. So that, but this was very cricket.
Some panels that come out in the board. I don't know what take it out. If it's wear and tear or whatnot, but they say they go fix it.
All right. So that was one of the issues I saw, and I think it needs to be fixed. The second thing with the scoreboard or the scoring, not the scoreboard now. I mean, since I was going in school and participating in Intercall, the point and the point standing seem to take a year before they can read it out. I mean, 10, 12 races, events going, and then nobody know what are the points standing. And I find that I don't see why that should be acceptable in a time like now. I find that is, I mean, this is, that is unacceptable.
But I like it so much.
And you know what has happened now? You know what has happened? When finally they bring it, everybody say the thief.
What exactly? The thief.
I don't understand. I don't see that. I don't see why that makes sense. Why we cannot get this point standing on a regular, up to date, you know? Just like after a race, you see the finals, you can see the replay, and then you confirm that. Why not then, maybe after every 3 or 4 races, put up the point standing? I don't understand why that is happening.
Usually
Doc,
the SAS supporters that are speak about that.
Doc, let me tell you something.
They need to see that they're in front.
No, you're wrong. Reece, no. Reece, you have it wrong. Let me tell you what. Let me tell you how the thing is. Let me tell you the thing is. Watch. I mean, why I agree with Doc, but let me tell you something. You think you're in the call and GBS is in front and 4, 5, 6 events pass, no points. And after about 2 hours, the points go by and you see SAS in front. What feeling better than that? What feeling better than that?
Well, obviously, Doc can satisfy. But we go talk reality now. We go talk reality. Y'all the Sassites and them just sit down there acting as if like y'all winning Intercall last year, you know. All you don't win Intercall last year, you know.
Nah, well, and let me tell you something. Doc saying this thing. Do better Doc. Doc does sit down there writing down all the little points in all the book.
He checked the points. He had his score locked down.
Well, I don't say by that, so I don't know what right Doc playing. Doc does there with the pen. Ask Doc if he doesn't always have a pen right checking school.
So what wrong with that? The Mado come?
Doc doesn't need no scoreboard. Don't worry.
Fall, you know. Y'all did not win Intercall last year. And according to King, all you have to say thank God to McDonald College that all you win the year before. Don't forget that, eh?
Anyway, can I continue?
Yeah.
Can I continue?
And when I tell them that they vex you.
Yeah.
Before.
Can I continue? So we also experienced a situation in the primary school sport where a lot of the children were sitting in the main pavilion, and the children had, I've never seen horns like that. Plenty horns, and it was constant. But apart from the horns, a lot of times you don't hear the command, and even when you were close to the starters, I was not hearing. I don't know the children. I guess those on the starting line they heard, but it was not loud. It was not commanding, and several times they had problems with the pistol. Again, so that's some issues. I really hope they work on intercall. Because this I don't know why so many children should be in the main stand, and why there should be so much. At least I don't know if you could stop the horn. I don't think you can, but I guess to compensate, you need to have the starters with a low PA system, and the gun has to operate properly. There was a lot of false start that took place at the primary school sport. So I believe that is something that should be addressed.
Doc,
Yeah.
in Intercall, you don't have a lot of children in the main stand. You know that. Them children in Intercall does. So, you know the uniform children in Intercall does be in the bleachers, like the place.
Yeah.
You know uniform children in primary school sports. Most of them come with their parents anyway. So they end up there. But let me just say this. Intercall have this problem. And it's not children alone are blowing on. Big old man and big old hardback man. Whole day. I don't know. Right? And the thing is that this is last year. When I couldn't take it again, I had to call Olivier and say to Olivier, listen, you have to put up a sign on his scoreboard. Anytime to tell people shh. You know, like how they don't do it in big shh. Because when people are at the command of the starters, there should be absolute silence. And there were a couple false starts last year, for example. I remember there was a SAS girl who false started 100 meters. And I said, if I am a coach, I don't see how I could protest that and lose. You can't protest that and lose. And in such, the organizer, sometimes I believe that in a lot of cases, the officials, and you're right, who do this thing, they don't exercise judicial and use the head. They go in by the letter of the law and the letter of the law, and one false start and other. But one false start is not a law that is made taking into account that the stadium is loud and rowdy. So when the stadium is loud and rowdy, you have to give some leeway to these little children. Because let me tell you something, when the stadium is loud, any little thing you believe in is a gun. And the electronic gun that they have now, it don't make it as loud and nice as the old Fido Torres. No, you're hearing a little perks. Sometimes you don't even hearing it for yourself. So it's easy for children to false start these days. And especially in this stadium on that third day. I believe that the officials, if we can't get the people quiet, and it doesn't seem so, because everybody on the thing is hand thing, then some leniency would have to take place. Would have to be exercised. All right? You also spoke, and we haven't spoken about that too, and we ain't taking no call for the night. But we also spoke last year. We saw the whole raising of the head where to me the back and forth and so on became of such that I'm not sure it bordered on unsportsmanlike behavior. A lot of people say that's just the thing and it's the rivalry and so on. I remember and I've always said, I said it on other forums, that the wreath that was laid and then spectator pelting and all this kind of thing. To me, that was kind of over the top. And what was the thing that disturbed me most was not that the wreath and so on was laid, but who gave the athlete the wreath? It was not officially how that person reached on the field to give the athlete the wreath. It's beyond it. That was the issue last year. But everybody see wreath and what. That was the issue. It spoke to an officiating breakdown that some person could just come from where they come out and give an athlete a wreath when he finish a race. I mean, we have heard that happening.
Yeah.
That was a low point. You know, you have to understand how in competitions like that, people can get in a kind of way, especially young people. So that was something that I was concerned about, definitely. But guys, you realize we almost out of time, eh?
We don't even take a call. You don't call.
Actually, one person, the phone went, but they had put down by the time I got to it. Let me see if there are any more comments on the WhatsApp platform. No more comments. Yeah.
On the WhatsApp, we have Desalin is saying we have to allow our young people to be able to express themselves. The one thing I don't want to see is schools focusing on matches, on match pass, and there are kids on the same team running without the proper footwear. She also said, that's not true. I was at Intercol at the finish line. The horn have nothing to do with the starter gun. Grenadian fans are no different to any other parts of the world. Scholar, if people can take noise, they shouldn't come to the stadium. It was young people time to have fun. And Natalia said, let the best team win, but let the kids enjoy the sports, go Boca Secondary School.
Yeah, but so I find there's a contradiction. I mean,
you could blow your horn whole time, you know. But once the children are the starters,
you need to have them.
I mean, like this
I agree.
It's an extremely tense moment. Very, 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 very tense moment. I mean, you know, when you get on your mark.
Nerve-wracking for the athletes.
Yeah, when you get on your mark,
you don't want them to mistakenly hear something that resembles a gun and it's not the gun.
No, definitely. But I mean, you know, like every year, you know, I'm looking forward to Intercall. You know, especially considering the strides we've made as a country, you know, in track and field. I'm really looking forward. Maybe this year, in a few years, I had the opportunity to, you know, look at a significant part of the national champs, and I was really impressed with some of the performances I saw. And you see an improvement. I can't help mentioning the Ned guy again in particular in the hurdle. You know, I was really, really impressed with his form. You know how he, you know, actually was able to master the technique and all of that. So that to me was really, really wonderful. We have a caller. Let's see if we can get them on. Oui Culture, good evening. Hello.
Oui Culture, good evening.
Yes, good evening, caller.
Yes, good evening. Hello?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Listen, I tend to agree with Scholar and all the others who talk about the noise. The noise. Because listen, if you recall last year, the 400 meters, when they started 400 meters, the children from the artisan lane 1 to lane 8 all come up indoors, especially the noise on the beaches. They can't hear a thing. The artisan lane 8 can't hear a thing. So that is why even if you amplify the song, they are not here. So they see you can't. Everybody will not have a fair start. So what had happened last year was the fact that the police had to go and they had to make a special request to the students to please take the horns down. And the horns, I mean, yes, you go to Olympia, you go to games, but you don't see people blowing these horns, I mean, at the start of an event. Because when, as you know, Godfrey and the next guy there, when you're on the call in Queen's Park, when you're on the starter's bucket, shh, and nobody make any noise, because any little thing behind your back, that break your concentration. So that person behind us say, okay, that didn't make sense, and the little children and they're used to that thing. That has nothing to do with old and young. It has to do with the athlete, and the athlete is the person you come to see, and they should have the right and the right to for silence on that day. Have a good one.
Yeah, thank you very much, caller. Thank you. Yeah, no, I agree. It is a very tense moment, and you have to be focused, and especially with the one false start rule, which I have issues with. Not that I don't think that athletes should be disciplined, but it's a difficult thing for an athlete to be there, and you can't focus. So that is something that needs to be addressed. Guys, we are about to wrap. Final comments.
Well, let me shoot. You say the one false start rule. I agree with you. It's, to me, it's the most punitive rule in sports. I don't know, man. But anyway, so Intercal this year promises to be great as usual. I mean, the thing is looking good. If you follow the preliminary events that happened, national games and all of those meets, that development meets that happened before, we're seeing a lot of very impressive times and some new athletes coming to the fore. There's a nice rivalry going on in the junior boys, among the junior boys. Very nice rivalry. Green, Boca, and then you have Mitchell, Sass. This young man, he has the fastest turnover I've ever seen in an athlete. I mean, and then you have Tashi from GBSS.
Yes, yeah.
Alfred from GBSS as well. So between these four, I mean, it's not going to be easy. And then you still have Bascom as well from Happy Hill. So these guys, there's not much that separates them. And I believe that in that junior division there, this is where we'll see it will be most impressive.
A lot of excitement, yes.
A lot of excitement there. You have a junior boy from SAS who is throwing 65, 66.
Yeah.
and
Philip Mitchell?
No, that is Smart. He was a sub-junior last year. And I'm on record, you see, I put things up the matters right. I wrote the Carifta people, the GA, asking them and pleading and begging with them to go with this young man to Carifta. And they told me that the javelin that he threw because since last year he breaking record. The javelin that he threw was a smaller javelin. Then somebody come up with some nonsense about them. They don't go in and carve out sub-junior. He's a sub. All kind of thing just to justify the nonsense. And when the people who they sent last year to Trinidad, when they came back, and then they had him with Sunday, he beat them. With the junior javelin, he beat them bad. So they knew from then I knew from then that this young man is destined, and to me this is one of Grenada's real hope for gold medal. We have several, but this is one in the character games because he's really of a very high standard, The senior boys again, there or thereabouts between SAS, GBSS, Boca. This one will be a kind of tangle. And then, of course, well, if everything goes according to how it's supposed to go, then SAS would not be between the sub-junior male division at all.
Yeah, that young guy, I saw him. Very, very, very talented, man.
Very, very good. And that is a talent from St. Patrick's. Anyway, I just wanted to
take a ball on that king.
You know,
had to see that.
Then, of course, in the girls' division, the female division, there is a sub-junior girl who is running even faster than the seniors. Haley Tyrell from SAS. Really, really good. She's explosive. And you look forward to nice things from the junior division, the senior. You have the St. David's. St. David's would be very, very difficult to beat again in the senior, but you have Anglican High School have some very good, especially in the junior division. They would be very, very difficult to stop. So all in all, it looks like it is turning out to be great. And let me just say, finally, Godfrey, that they are concentrating on hurdles because there is no sub-junior hurdles, junior hurdles, senior hurdles, 110, 100 girls, and 400. So there is a big concentration on the hurdles, which is good.
It is.
But there are too many events in other areas that I think needs to be nipped. And the solution, as we see, would not be adding a 4th day because it will be too difficult on schools that are coming.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But it can back 4 days. It will be difficult. And then, of course, if you add a 4th day, then you know
they will add more events.
In the hole and make children do steeplechase.
Not just lime and spoon or kind of thing. As you mentioned, well, I was about to say that. As you mentioned that, I was going to say that pole vault is something that we probably need to start looking at because I noticed the heptathlon and so on, decathletes, it's one of the events. And if you notice at the international level, our athletes are not so good at that. This is where I think guys like Lyndon and so they sort of fall back because of the pole vault. So these are areas that we need to.
Cycling?
The Caribbean are cycling? Good in pole vault.
Yeah.
I believe pole vault is for white man.
Yeah.
What about cycling?
Black man don't like this guy height of it.
What about swimming being part of intercol as well?
Well, they go swim in the river, in the river, they go swim in the river.
No. There are children who, since primary school, on Fridays, the extracurricular is learning to swim.
But Scholar, you have a nice base. But Scholar, you have a nice base in the river there. Just stay on the bridge and take a head. Yeah, nice base there. Take a two head. Anyway, Doc, your closing.
In the 80s, there was this serious rivalry between particularly SAS and GBSS. And then I find later, we start to close the gap in terms of the level of animosity, etc., that we used to see. I talk about mainly the boys division. Last year when I saw the Reece, or the Reece, and I think there was a coffin. I wondered because I don't want us to go in that direction again. I believe we should compete, but at the end of the day, particularly for somebody like me that met people like Jericho and Kenneth Alexander and Jeffrey Neptune, etc., those guys and them, we competed, but later on we were able to embrace each other as fellow athletes. And I believe that it is important that we continue on that trend, that we can rival. But at the end of the day, we would be on a character team and we would be celebrating and supporting Grenada as a character team. And it's not just SAS or McDonald College or GBSS or Anglican High or Convent, etc. So I wish that extreme level of support to schools can cease and desist. So at the end of the day, it makes it easier for us to work together. Be that as it may, I also brought a suggestion. I believe we should have a 1 day, a week or 2 weeks before, a 1 day game where we go and do all the preliminaries, and then so you prevent the extra muscle pull, the extra problem, and so that when we have 2 days of intercall, when we come back, children are like a refresh. We have 2 days of intercall, and it can be something that is really good. Whether you're spectators or not, we're looking for time and position for that week ahead or that 2 weeks before. So I believe that is a solution that can be considered based on the terrain and the level of travel that the schools and them have to do in small Grenada when they have to go 3 days in intercall. I think it's really, really hard on them. So I wanted to see that
out in St. George's now?
as a solution. So then my final thing as it relates to that is that I just want to remind John Public that this Saturday, drum moonlighting, it has been growing in leaps and bounds. You are invited, drum moonlighting, Tivoli Cultural Center. We have some really, really new and interesting activities coming up. So I yet to see the team from Oui Culture come in and do a thing. So I hope one day I can see all of us at drum moonlighting.
But you don't invite us? you never invite us? You have to invite us, we come in and make a little pique, a little bongo. You know about on that. So just invite us. Reece, did you take your? No, you didn't make your.
We can do this as it was in the beginning. So shall it be in the end? Mm-hmm. You all tried to ignore me in the beginning.
No. I remember you spoke about the cycling, so I was just trying to make sure that wasn't your final. I just did a little interjection. Right, yeah. So your final comments.
So I'm going to take the comments from Johnny Nash. He said some people just don't like the messenger, but what Scholar said is right. Deslin said the fans are very restrained when it comes to the start of the race, with the exception of the last 2 races at Intercall, where they had to use the boat. Hold on. Right, so we have Alexandra Velez is saying, when the kids are on the starting lineup, the crowd needs to be silent to enable the race to start. Good night, everyone. Destin said it is looking really good, and it is at a fever pitch right now. They say SAS coming to exhume the casket GBSS buried them in. I have to agree with Scholar. When we see potential in our athletes, we must give them the opportunity. And we have Destin also saying the female division, SJC St. George, have the 4x400 relay. And she also said this would be a good addition to Intercall games, swimming. So, for me, when I saw the wreath, yes, it takes you a bit back, but I just saw the symbolism in it. It's like GBSS burying Sastry. And not that anybody was going to die. And, I didn't see it for the bad omen and all of that. I just saw the symbolism that GBSS is burying SAS today. And I would understand why, especially, leave King out of that, why the Sassites would have a problem with it. Because true to fact, they did get buried that day.
But you don't do it in front of supporters.
But when we look at our Soca Monarch, all these events that we have where we bring in the level of creativity and stuff like that, we're an extreme people. We do these things. We are very, very literal sometimes in what we do. We go far to capture the attention and to make our point. So these kids are learning from all these things and then bury all, the people up north are famous for doing things like that, especially. I come from a town where Veko are coffin, and sometimes we have people in the coffin too, dragging. People taking their picture and things. So to me, it was more of a symbolic thing. Maybe we find it was not for children, okay, but I just took it as a symbolic thing. And as the person who just wrote there say that SAS is coming to exhume. So let's see if SAS would exhume. And I hope it is that what doesn't happen is that there's some kind of cremation. That might happen instead. But anyways, when it comes to Intercall, I support from North, come down to Happy Hill Secondary School, and then we go across to Tantine. So I expect that St. Rose Modern Secondary School is going to do a little thing, but the St. John's Christian Secondary School is going to do some things, right? Big up to Coach Gary on that. I expect that Happy Hill, St. Mark's Secondary, McDonald College, the SDA, those schools are going to do some damage. But when it comes to the Anglican High School, y'all know my heart is there. And my brother's school, the great GBSS, and of course my sister's school up on the eastern side, SAS. We're just wishing all those schools. And there's a school, Boca Secondary School. I know they are going to create some upset. And we are looking forward to seeing what the talents are going to put on the field. At the end of the day, let us have some fun. Let us have some camaraderie. We're not going to do anything for fame and cloud. This year, we are just going to, understand that we are adults and understand that these are children, that we don't get mixed up and so intense that we are stoning children with bottles on the field and all of that. I'm just looking for a clean intercall fun and may the best one win. But I have a question for a particular person who sometimes listens to We Culture, and I hope the message gets to her. Her name is Alison George Thomas from St. David's. I wanted to answer to me, why is it that St. David's Catholic Secondary School does not make a mark when it comes to the boy division? What going on up there with y'all? What going up there with y'all? The girls doing things for years, but those boys are them they don't do nothing. I don't know.
Anyway, yeah. So, guys, So one person just saying, and I just think I should read this. Good evening. Please make an appeal for parents and others to refrain from social bullying. It is affecting many of our athletes. I just thought I should leave that there. That's all the time we have, guys.
Shall we see today?
Which one?
Like the picture we see today.
Which one?
We saw a picture today where, it was an old picture.
Yeah.
An old picture, and those people that are in the picture, they're looking like adults. Adults. You understand?
You're right.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I won't comment on that. All I would say to that is, woo! Anyway, folks, thank you all so very much for staying with us. We are a little over time, but next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, intercall days. We're looking forward to 3 days of, track and field. Nice, clean rivalry, and at the end of it, SAS, Semper Navigans, always sailing. We're going. Do have a good night. All the best.
That ship sink.
The balance of power in the Middle East and beyond. This is no longer the same Iran, no longer the same Middle East, and this is not the same Israel, he said. And there are some Israelis who will hear that and will hear in it their Prime Minister saying that Israel has achieved what it set out to achieve in this war, and perhaps gesturing towards the end of that war, even while Iran's regime is still in place and while Israel is still fighting on a second front against Hezbollah in Lebanon. And on that tonight, the Prime Minister said that Israel was committed to completing that task, saying that Hezbollah would pay a very heavy price for its aggression.
That was Lucy Williamson reporting there. Now, Israel has also been targeting more sites in the Lebanese capital, Beirut, which it says are